Let me move on to another topic, brothers. Recently, tensions arose between the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan and some military circle within the government of Pakistan, as you all have witnessed. As we have said it before, we adopted a balanced foreign policy precisely because Afghanistan has emerged from decades of war and turmoil. Now, there is a great opportunity for us to establish good relations with all our neighbors, to have strong ties with regional countries, and to use Afghanistan's geographical position for trade, connectivity, transit, and movement. This is the path we chose. However, over the past 4 years, at various times, the government of Pakistan has committed repeated violations. Afghanistan's airspace and sovereignty were breached. Afghan civilians, shops and markets were bombed. Ultimately, the situation reached a point where even the airspace of Afghan capital was violated, leaving the Islamic Emirate with no choice but to respond. Following this, our friendly countries made contact, and under their mediation, negotiations began. The first round of talk took place in Qatar, and the last 2 rounds were held in Istanbul, Turkey. The delegation of Islamic Emirate attended these talks with genuine goodwill and sincerity, and with full authorization and guidance from the leadership. Unfortunately, however, no progress was achieved in these negotiations. The main reason for the lack of progress was that the Pakistani representatives made certain proposals and demands that were unrealistic and unreasonable. For example, they demanded that we guarantee no security incidents would occur in Pakistan. But how can we be responsible for Pakistan's internal security? Do we have peacekeeping forces there? Do we control the police or army of Pakistan? Is Pakistan a small province or district that another state can secure it? It is a large country, and ensuring its security is not the responsibility of another government. That is an illogical demand. On the contrary, we told them that from your territory, Daesh or ISIS members are being trained and sent to carry attacks in Afghanistan. Stop them. For 4 years, aircrafts have been violating Afghanistan's airspace. Stop that as well. Yet they refuse to take responsibility for these acts. At one point, they even suggested that the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan or TTP groups should be relocated into Afghanistan. Is Afghanistan insane enough to bring your troubles into its own home? One moment they accuse us of harboring the TTP, and the next day propose that Pakistan-based TTP groups be moved into Afghanistan. That is deliberately creating chaos and conflict, something totally unacceptable. Brothers, they claim that TTP fighters crossed the Durand line from Afghanistan and attacked inside Pakistan. But there are several questions that must be asked in response. Wasn't the entire Durand line fenced during the era of Republic and the US occupation? You built roads, checkpoints, and the large bases behind the fence. From there up to Peshawar and Islamabad, there are tens of checkposts. So why can't you stop them? You have a large army, intelligence services, technology, and cameras across the Durand line. If someone crosses all those barriers and all your fences and checkposts, how can you blame Afghanistan for it? If, as you claim, these fighters are inside your territory, why don't you control them? And if they cross back into Afghanistan, then we too have the right to question you. Why did you let them to enter our soil in first place? These are the kinds of arguments they refuse to accept in discussions. Nevertheless, throughout the negotiations, our delegation never once walked away to refuse to talk. The talks were abandoned by them. The proposals of the way out were rejected by them. And finally, our team returned home. Brothers, we again say, Afghanistan's soil will not be used against anyone. We respect the brotherly and Muslim people of Pakistan. We respect their scholars and their political leaders. We acknowledge that within the Pakistani government, there are many who desire peace, reconciliation, and understanding. And we value that. Our goal is to bring them good, as a Muslim should wish well for another Muslim. But if certain circles and certain projects are being pushed against us, then Afghanistan also has the right to defend itself, and it will do so. Today, praise to be Allah, the entire Afghan nation stands united with us and will bravely defend its homeland. Brothers, Pakistan problems are not new. Don't you all know that the TTP has been active inside Pakistan for the past 25 years? Hasn't the Pakistani government itself announced that over the last 20 years, 70 to 80,000 of its people have died in these wars? Weren't there bombings in Pakistan? Weren't there drone strikes? Weren't there attacks in Islamabad, Karachi and Peshawar? Wasn't there an assassination attempt on President Musharraf? Didn't 300 soldiers fall into TTP captivity in Waziristan? All these issues are old. Even if we progress in one discussion, they bring up another issue. Has anyone ever seen a member of the BLA or the Baloch Liberation Army in Afghanistan? Yet now they also try to blame that on Afghanistan as well. Their main argument is this. They said that since the Islamic Emirate came to power in Afghanistan, attacks in Pakistan have increased. But if you link the rise of TTP attacks to Afghanistan, then what about the 2 wars you fought with India? Will you also blame those on Afghanistan? You had clashes with Iran too. Is that Afghanistan's fault? You imprisoned Imran Khan and his entire movement. Will you blame that on Afghanistan as well? You are fighting Tehreek-e-Labbaik now. Is that also Afghanistan's doing? Your economy is collapsing. Your currency is falling. You face numerous domestic problems. You will blame all of that on Afghanistan as well. In reality, Afghanistan opened transit routes for you, increased trade with you, extended a hand of goodwill. During your first government, our relations were constructive and mutually beneficial. Trade flourished and transit expanded. But if you cannot control your own internal situation and pursue your own agendas, Afghanistan should not be blamed for it. And brothers, how unfortunate it is that a country, an army which calls itself nuclear power, uses that power against refugees, expelling them from their homes, leaving their children out in the cold, filling prisons, blocking roads for travelers, patients and traders. A nuclear power is using strength against onions and tomatoes and shutting down the trade routes. What kind of logic is that? Mixing politics with trade, whose benefit is that in? Your conflict is with the TTP, yet you create hardships for refugees. We say that according to diplomatic principles, we must move forward through reasonable, practical approach. The Emirate remains committed that its soil will not be used against you. The Islamic Emirate did everything in its power. It helped to facilitate dialogue between you and the TTP. And nearly 90% of the issue was resolved. But you ruined it again. The Emirate has built hundreds of checkpoints along the Durand line, spending millions of dollars to maintain security and ease your concerns. By the way, those refugees who fled Waziristan because of your military operations, we relocated them into central Afghanistan for your peace of mind, spending resources to house them. So, Afghanistan has fulfilled its responsibility. If anyone violates the terms after this, the blame will rest upon them. But I'm glad that the honorable people, scholars, and politicians of Pakistan have begun to recognize these realities. And I hope they will help bring the situation under control.
او امید ست چې دا وضعیت به کنټرول کړي.